Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidas, bienvenidos todos a esta nueva sesión del ciclo de conferencias de lengua y cultura organizado por el Centro de Autoacceso y Mediateca del ENES UNAM Morelia. Es para nosotros un gusto reunirnos el día de hoy para hablar junto con la ponente invitada sobre una de las fiestas nacionales de Estados Unidos y Canadá más importantes, que es el Día de Acción de Gracias o Thanksgiving. Originalmente, este día fue concebido como el agradecimiento por la cosecha y por el año de supervivencia que tuvieron los refugiados irlandeses, auxiliados por los nativos estadounidenses. El Día de Acción de Gracias se celebra el cuarto jueves de noviembre en los Estados Unidos. Aunque este día tiene raíces históricas en las tradiciones religiosas y culturales, también se ha celebrado durante mucho tiempo como una fiesta secular. El día de hoy nos acompaña la profesora Gloia Gastón. Ella es asesora del Centro de Autoacceso y tiene una amplia experiencia como profesora. En los últimos tiempos ha tenido un interés particular sobre el tema de lengua y cultura, porque aprender una lengua no solamente es saber las cosas sobre gramática o sobre vocabulario, también debemos de conocer la forma en que piensan, en que viven, y en cómo interactúan las personas usando la lengua. Entonces, sean bienvenidas todas las personas. Esta conferencia quedará grabada en nuestro canal de YouTube. La conferencia, el idioma de la conferencia será en inglés y cualquier duda, cualquier comentario lo pueden registrar en la caja de comentarios. Asimismo, los invitamos a que se suscriban a nuestro canal y a que nos sigan en nuestras redes sociales y a comunicarse a través de los medios que están indicados en la caja de descripción de este video. Dejo los micrófonos para usted, maestra Gloria, y estoy pendiente de cualquier cosa. Muchas gracias por aceptar la invitación de participar.
Muchísimas gracias. Buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos. Voy a empezar por compartir mi pantalla. Ok. El día de hoy vamos a hablar. Today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. And the icon of Thanksgiving is the turkey. But today we have a very elegant turkey. She's preparing not to be the dinner. She's getting prepared to have the dinner with the people. Okay? And also we have different icons that are the maple leaves. Maples are big trees that grow in Canada and in the north of the United States, and they are the trees from where they take out the syrup, the maple syrup for the hotcakes, okay? So we will start for saying that there is always something to be thankful for. I would like to ask you, all of you, why are you thankful for today? What are you thankful for today? Maybe because of life, maybe because you have a prodigious throat and you sing beautifully, maybe because you are a very intelligent person, maybe because there was food on your table today, maybe because you are totally healthy. And there are many, many great reasons every day to give thanks, the way you prefer and to whom you prefer. This is not a religious festivity. Today, it used to be a religious festivity many years ago, maybe 500 years ago, more or less. But nowadays, this is a secular festivity. So everyone, each person may thank to the person, to the God, to the goddess, to whatever you want, or to whoever you want, in the way that you prefer. Okay, we're going to talk about the origins of Thanksgiving. This is supposed to be the Mayflower. Of course, this is not the Mayflower. This is a very modern ship, and it has the American flag in its proa, popa, I really don't know. But this is a kind of assembly of the Mayflower ship. Of course, this was constructed by the Americans, okay? Although the American concept of Thanksgiving developed in the colonies of New England, Its roots can be traced back to the other side of the Atlantic. Both the separatists who came over on the Mayflower in 1620 and the Puritans who arrived soon after brought with them a tradition of providential holidays, days of fasting during difficult moments, and days of feasting and celebration to thank God in times of plenty. In September 1620, there was a small ship called the Mayflower. This is another kind of drawing or photograph about the Mayflower. Left the north of England carrying 102 passengers. Of course, just a few people from this ship reached the coast of America because of the wind, because of the torment, because the ship was very weak, because it was very old, because there were many people sick or got sick inside the boat. Anywhere, only some of them got the coasts of America. Okay, an assortment of religious separatists seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, and other individuals encouraged by the promise of prosperity and land ownership in the New World. Remember that the New World was America, north of America in this case. After a dangerous and uncomfortable crossing that lasted 66 days, more than 2 months, in the autumn, late autumn, almost winter, it was November and December. They dropped anchor near the tip of Cape Cod, far north of their intended destination at the mouth of the Hudson River, very close to New York. They planned to get to New York, but maybe the wind took them to the north of the United States, very north of the United States, and in the middle of Canada too. 1 month later, the Mayflower crossed Massachusetts Bay, where the Pilgrims, as they are now commonly known, began the work of establishing a village in Plymouth. Throughout that first brutal winter, most of the colonists remained on board the ship, where they suffered from contagious diseases. It was more secure to be in the ship, even though one of them was cold and the other had a stomach ache and the other one had I don't know how many diseases were there in those times, but it was more comfortable and more secure to be in there than going to land, inland, because they didn't know who or whom they were going to find. Only half of the Mayflower's original passengers and crew lived to see their first New England spring. Do you remember that it was 102? So maybe 60 got to the coast and survived until the spring. In March, the remaining settlers moved ashore when they received an astonishing visit from some members of the Wampanoag Native American tribe, headed by Squanto, who greeted them in English. How is this possible? If he was a Native American person, how is this possible that they greeted them in English? Like, how? Good morning. Who are you? Something like that. Okay, I went back. Okay, Squanto, look at the face of Squanto. Of course, it was not his face. This is a drawing of someone who seemed like a Squanto or someone who imagined that Squanto was like this. Squanto was a member of the tribe that had been kidnapped by an English sea captain and sold into slavery before escaping to London and returning to his homeland on an exploratory expedition. Okay, now I understand why Squanto spoke English. Squanto taught the Pilgrims, weakened by malnutrition and illnesses, how to cultivate corn. Remember that corn was not in Europe. It is only in America. Struck from maple trees. They lived in America, not in Europe. Catch fish. Of course, they lived in Europe and in America. But in Europe, they used webs or some other ways to catch the fish. And in America, they worked with a stick that had a great point. Okay. And avoid poisonous plants. He also helped the settlers forge an alliance with the Wampanoag, a local tribe. In November 1621, after the Pilgrims' first corn harvest proved successful, Governor William Bradford organized a celebratory feast and invited a group of the fledgling colony's Native American allies, including the Wampanoags, now remembered as the Americans' first Thanksgiving, although the Pilgrims themselves may not have used the term at that time. The festival lasted for 3 days. It's like the weddings that we go today. We attend a 3 days wedding. Before the wedding, and after the wedding. And this is incredible, right? While no record exists on the first Thanksgiving exact menu, much of what we know about what happened at the first Thanksgiving comes from Pilgrim Chronicle Edward Winslow, who wrote the following. Our harvest being gotten in, our governor sent 4 men unfolding that so we might after a special manner rejoice together. After we had gathered the fruits of our labors, they 4 in 1 day killed as much fowls as with a little help to serve the company almost a week, at which time, among other recreations, we exercised our arms. Many of the Indians coming among us, and among the rest, their greatest king Masoid, with some 90 men, from whom for 3 days were entertained and feasted. And they went out and killed 5 deer, which they brought to the plantation and bestowed on our governor and upon the captain and others. And although it be not always so plentiful as it was at this time with us, yet by the goodness of God, we are so far from want than we often wish to partakers of our plenty. Okay, this is ancient English. That's why it is a little hard to understand it. But this chronicle, the man who wrote all this, was the person who was in front of what was happening. Maybe he was the governor assistant or someone like that. And he wrote what was he looking at. Many people chasing fish, many people chasing deer, many people killing fowls, and many people preparing everything that they had in their harvest. Okay, look at this. This is supposed to be, of course, this is a painting. And of course, things were not like this, okay? There is a lady, one of the pioneers, who is accompanied one of the Native American woman, and she's inviting her to participate. And look at this pioneer. She's really beautiful. And she's inviting the Indians something to eat. And look at this dog. The dog is wonderful. I am not sure that the dogs had survived the Mayflower, but in this painting, it shows that everybody were happy and everybody were friendly, and they wanted to be together and they enjoyed the festivity. Okay, some significant happenings are in the middle of that year and 1827, 200 years after. Among them, the independence of the USA, so people forgot about Thanksgiving Day. Of course, they were fighting in the war. They were fighting for their independence from the United Kingdom. And they forgot about Thanksgiving because they didn't know what day was today. But precisely in 1827, the noted magazine editor and prolific writer, Sarah Josepha Hale, author, among countless other things, of the nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Do you remember that rhyme? Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Okay. Launched a campaign to establish Thanksgiving as a national holiday. For 36 years, she published numerous editorials and sent scores to letters to governors, senators, presidents, and other politicians, earning her nickname of the Mother of Thanksgiving. She wanted the Thanksgiving Day back. Abraham Lincoln finally listened to her request in 1863. At the height of the Civil War, in the middle of the Civil War, but Abraham Lincoln had ears for her. In a proclamation entreating all Americans to ask God to commend to his tender care and those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife, and to heal the wounds of the nation. He scheduled Thanksgiving for the final Thursday in November, and it was celebrated on that day every year until 1939, when Franklin D. Roosevelt moved the holiday up a week in an attempt to push up sales during the Great Depression. Roosevelt's plan, known as Franksgiving, was met with passionate opposition. And in 1941, the president reluctantly signed a bill making Thanksgiving the fourth Thursday of November, okay? This was not an economic, this was not a business festivity. This was something from the heart, something very spiritual, something to give thanks the way you prefer to the person or to the God that you prefer. Okay. Estoy regresando. Give thanks and share the best wishes. During the Thanksgiving Day, we do not give presents. We give presents for Christmas, but for Thanksgiving Day, we give love. We give, we share our friendship. We share our table, our food. We share our happiness. We share our best desires, but nothing that you have to go to store and buy and put it in a box. Forget about that. Thanksgiving is not for presents. What you present are the best wishes. Nowadays, we gather on these days to be thankful for what we have, for the family we love, for the friends we cherish, and for the blessings that will come, as well as wishing these blessings to be multiplied this year and throughout all your life. You know, only best wishes. Look at this family. They are very happy because they are going to share a turkey that is the icon of Thanksgiving. In the United States homes, most of the people share a turkey during Thanksgiving festivity, and the family get together and close friends get together. And it is said that it will be very appreciated if you invite someone that you really don't know, or someone who is far from you, maybe a friend who was far from you, maybe a family, something like an old aunt or an old uncle or a grandpa. You invite them to your table in order to share that day and all your blessings with that person, okay? This is very important for you to know. This is a kind of poem and pray to that you may share on Thanksgiving Day. And you give thanks. Thank you for the food before us, for the friends beside us, and for the love between us. Happy Thanksgiving. So there are many, many things to think during this day. And always, of course, but the problem is that we wake up every morning and we are in a hurry all day and we forget to say, thank you for today. Thank you just for today. So this is a good way to start to share in the table this Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day activities, the most important traditions of Thanksgiving Day are getting together with the family and friends to give thanks and have a Thanksgiving meal. Why a dinner? Maybe you are asking, why a dinner? Okay, because during the day, everybody's working and the kids are in the school. And during lunch, it's exactly the same. People are working and kids are in the school. So at night, when everybody goes home and rests, they get together. That's why it's a Thanksgiving dinner. Okay? In the States, people used to travel more for this day than any other day in the year. This day is much more important than Christmas Day in the United States. There are many people who get together in Thanksgiving Day, and they do not get together in Christmas because of their work, because of the distance, because many different reasons. But this is a strongest day. Thanksgiving meal. According to the tradition, no Thanksgiving is complete without having turkey on the dinner table. Turkey is the unofficial mascot of Thanksgiving. Every family has its own recipes for mashed potatoes, vegetables, also mashed sweet potatoes, which are really delicious, cranberry sauce, and for dessert, apple, pumpkin, or pecan pies, which are considered in the celebration. A recent tradition has evolved into a humorous turkey pardoning by the President of the United States. At his light-hearted ceremony, the President issues an official pardon for a turkey, saving it from being cooked for supper. What is this? Okay, in the White House, there is a corral in which there are many turkeys which have been, which are raised during the year in order to be killed for Thanksgiving Day. So the most precious turkey, the biggest turkey, the one who has more flesh, the one that looks more tasty is taken to the President of the United States, whoever it is, and the President will say, okay, I will give you my pardon. You won't be cooked today, maybe next year, but not today. And the cooks take the turkey back to the corral. This is a very ancient tradition. Of course, a second turkey takes its place. And in the White House, they are going to have Thanksgiving Day dinner for sure. Look at the turkey. He is very happy because he knows he's going to be eaten. And these are the pumpkins and the apples and nuts and apples too, and all these maple leaves and the colors of the autumn. Okay, this is a family, maybe during the 50s, 60s. They are going to, I'm sorry. They are going to start the dinner, but before that, they are thinking, they are giving thanks to maybe to the Lord, maybe to Buddha, maybe to a Japanese deity, maybe to Tlaloc, I don't know, whoever they want. Thanksgiving is important because it's a positive and secular holiday where we celebrate gratitude, something that we don't do enough of these days. We thank everything that is in front of us, everyone who is aside of us, and everything that is between us. It is also a celebration in the fall harvest. That celebration began with the Pilgrims, who in 1621 called it their first Thanksgiving. This is a sample of a table, and this is very easy and very affordable to do. These are normal plates. Maybe the napkins are over the dish instead of aside the dish, and there are some flowers on it, and there are some pumpkins that are acting as ornaments. But look at this. This is a piece of papel de estraza, and you only have to write, I am thankful for, o doy las gracias por. And the people who are going to have dinner with you are going to write in these lines why they are thankful. Why? Maybe this year was profitable. Maybe this year they had a grandchild. Maybe this year they were very healthy. Maybe this year they had enough food for all the family. I don't know. There are so many different situations in each family. And it could be also thank you for letting us having Mr. Whoever that is just among us, having these dishes shared with him. That could be a very good way to share this Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving activities. Over the years, families have developed some traditional activities associated with Thanksgiving Day. From the food you serve for Thanksgiving dinner to what you prefer to do in order to spend a good time together. There are many kinds of activities. You may play with your family, like table games. You may do any kind of guessing. You may do any kind of activities. What is happening in the United States nowadays, remember that the United States, they consume a lot. And they are consuming all the time, okay? So they have established the Black Friday after the night of Thanksgiving. So most of the families eat their dinner, and when they have eaten, thanking, and when they have finished eating, what they do is go shopping. This is an activity. This is not a very nice activity, but this is what people in the United States used to do nowadays. What we can do is stay home and play and make tricks with all the people who are next to us so we can have a great time together. Okay, this is another kind of poem. When you look at life through eyes of gratitude, the world becomes a magical and amazing place. Is this clear? When we look at the life and we say, thank you, through our eyes full of gratitude, the world becomes magical and is a different place. It is amazing. This is great. So this Thanksgiving Day, I wish you the gift of faith and the blessing of hope. Thank you for being here today. And I hope all of you practice or enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner. And I hope this will be full of blessings and it is the best night of your life. Thank you very much for being here. I really have enjoyed having you with me. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, maestra Gloria. A nuestros invitados, a las personas que están siguiendo esta transmisión. Manuel Mendoza en YouTube le manda saludos. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Gaby Gutiérrez Mata manda muchos pavos, muchos iconos de pavo. Y si alguien en la transmisión tiene algún comentario adicional, no lo puede compartir. Yo se lo comparto, yo se lo leo a la maestra Gloria. Y a nuestras invitadas que están aquí en la sala de Zoom, Judith, Brenda, adelante. Si tienen alguna pregunta, es momento de compartirla con la maestra.
Oh, yes. I would like to ask you something. Do you remember exactly? I don't remember if you mentioned what was exactly the reason why the Pilgrims left England in searching for new places in America. What was exactly the reason why?
Yeah, because they had been persecuted from the Catholics in the north of England and in Ireland. And they had been persecuted by them, so they pushed them up to leave the country. And the only way to not be killed was to leave the country in that very small ship.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that, and because the reason why is because they were not experts in traveling in the sea. Course. I understand that's why they died. A lot of people died during the trip, and then when they arrived to the States, they died because of the winter. So I was wondering, why did they left? What did they leave? I'm sorry, and then who were they?
Yes,
exactly.
They were people living in the north of England and in Ireland. And as I told you, they were persecuted and they were pushed up to the sea. And of course, they were not experts sailors. Of course not. And if we take into consideration that these months were almost winter or beginning of winter, and the sea is terrible in the north part of the globe, of course that I suppose that they had many people sick and many people who thrown away the ship, and many people who died during the sailing, and of course many people who were born also during the sailing, because I suppose that there were many pregnant women in that ship, okay, and they were sailing with no kind of precaution. It was really risky, a risky trip. So I really don't understand how they survived. Only half of them did it. Only half of them reached the coasts of Massachusetts. Only half of them, maybe the strongest one.
Well, it was a good reason to be thankful for them, I'm sure.
Of course. Yes. Thank you for survivance. Of course. Yes.
There is a very strong tradition up there in the States. If you're living next to a place where the army is, you are allowed to invite a soldier, a Marine, somebody from the army to have dinner with you. And it's a great honor to have a military personnel in your table. They appreciate it a lot. And
okay.
It's nice.
That's great. That's great. I talk about someone that you met in the house, in the street, or someone that you knew from a very long time ago. But if you have a soldier in your house sharing the table, that's great. You're not going to share your house forever. It's only the table, only the dinner.
Perfect.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bren. Judy, do you have something to say?
No, únicamente pues darle las gracias por esta información tan importante para quienes estamos aprendiendo el idioma, y pues como siempre es algo que se disfruta bastante, toda la información, cómo nos va llevando como de la mano hasta nuestros días, ¿no? O sea, cómo fue como esta evolución. Entonces, pues nada que preguntas, pero sí comentarios, pues muchas felicidades.
Muchas gracias, Judy. Padre. Muchas gracias, Judy.
Gracias.
Ok.
Gracias. Unido a este comentario de Judith, Manuel Mendoza nos deja en el chat de YouTube. Thank you for sharing the information of the Thanksgiving Day. It's a pleasure to hearing you. Thank you for have the opportunity to see and hear you.
Yes. Manuel Mendoza was in a conversation club with me. And he used to live in Canada, but he used to live in Vancouver, in the West Coast, in the West Coast in Vancouver. And he's a good friend. Thank you very much.
Muy bien. Pues, si no hay otros comentarios, me gustaría cerrar esta intervención. Y justo me quedo con el pensamiento que nos propones de ir más allá de los regalos, sobre esta explicación que nos diste, que no son regalos, sino estar agradecidos. Después de todo lo que hemos vivido, después de tantas pérdidas, después de tantos retos que hemos vivido en los últimos 20 meses, estar agradecidos, aunque sea una tradición, una fiesta que no sea de nuestro país, que no sea mexicana, estar agradecidos siempre es importante, con las personas, con la figura del Dios a la cual la persona crea, con la naturaleza, con nuestros padres, con nuestros amigos. Gracias que tenemos salud, gracias que tenemos trabajo, gracias que tenemos lo que tenemos y gracias que estamos aquí. Gracias que tenemos la oportunidad de reunirnos y gracias que tenemos vida. Entonces, creo que este año, particularmente este año, Thanksgiving, el Día de Acción de Gracias, es una fiesta muy particular, es una fiesta, o tendríamos que reflexionarlo, por eso es importante también conocer esta parte de las tradiciones del mundo, porque agradecemos, y el agradecimiento es una cualidad mundial, es una cualidad de la humanidad, y a la cual no debemos de abandonar nunca, a estar agradecidos. Y desde aquí, un agradecimiento a todos los aprendientes que están con nosotros en la mediateca, todas las personas que colaboran con nosotros de manera remota. Gracias también a los asesores, gracias a nuestra coordinación y gracias a todos, porque sin todas las personas que estamos detrás y todas las que se ven en cámara, todos, gracias a todos, podemos hacer este proyecto algo posible. Entonces, con todo cariño y respeto, les agradecemos también que nos hayan seguido hasta este momento de la conferencia. Gracias a nuestras invitadas y muchas gracias, maestra Gloria, por compartirnos esto.
My gratitude to all of you.
Gracias. Y si quieren conocer más sobre lengua y cultura, los invitamos también a conocer nuestra oferta académica en 14 idiomas que pueden conocer a través del seguimiento que den en las redes sociales del Centro de Acceso y Mediateca en la descripción de este video. No olviden suscribirse, compartir este video y bueno, pues finalmente agradecer a quien más, a quien ustedes deseen y a lo que ustedes deseen.
Y de la manera que deseen también.
Siempre un acto de agradecimiento, sí. No necesitamos hacer algo tan especial. Ya lo decía la maestra Gloria, es un acto de agradecimiento. Entonces es un acto humano, es un acto personal y cada uno de nosotros encontraremos la forma de agradecer. Y gracias. Desde
Así
aquí,
es.
muchas gracias. Y nos despedimos. Nos vemos en 15 días en la siguiente sesión de este ciclo de conferencias. Hasta luego.